Hi, ABA community, and welcome to another episode of the Radical BCBA. I have a special guest. She is an RBT who is popping off on TikTok, and I'm excited for her to introduce herself.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Natalie Tasca. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Venezuela, but I was living in Chile and now I'm here in United States in Orlando. I started almost 2 years ago in the ABA field.
Wow, 2 years. Wow, that is like a big history of, where you are from and where you came from. So I guess it just makes me very curious, like, what got you into ABA?
Okay, that is a random story. Probably you won't believe it, but I actually learned about ABA while working as a sales associate at the mall here in Orlando. I was talking to a customer about what I love to doing, and they introduced me to the world FBA because I was talking like I know it's so hard, like start a whole career here in United States when you're an immigrant, and I was so stuck. And he told me about this field that I can start being an RBT, and I was so excited.
So you are really interested in like helping others? Is it about the behavior aspect? Like what drew you in right away?
Since I have probably 12 or 15 years, I was working as a volunteering in the church, like with old people or kids that the parents normally are immigrants, so they work 24/7 and they can do nothing on vacation. So we're open as a summer camp and winter too. So I was just doing volunteering for 2 or 3 weeks. It's kind of same because you're helping, you're doing your best, you're giving your hours. Like I was okay.
Do you feel like you're gonna like I get to learn more about humans overall? You see what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're giving me a beautiful explanation of how you were helping and volunteering for this, and now you're like, wow, I get to learn more about that as well.
Yeah, that was literally my goal because obviously I want to be a BCBA, I want to have my own center. My goal is providing obviously support and therapy families that they don't have access to resource.
I think we share that in common. And being a Latina myself, I feel like there's not enough resources for our community. And that's happened to me before. I've met families where they're like, we don't even know where to find resources because we're not even from here. And it touches your heart.
That was I was thinking of my community because us as a Venezuelan, where situation here it's kind of asylum, so we can't receive any a dollar from the government. So I was thinking about the kids that they're from Venezuela or from other countries that is the same situation that asylum. It's like, oh my God, how can do that? How can receive the therapies that he needs? I was talking with a friend that her kid has autism disorder, and she's working with a person from Venezuela, but it's kind online therapy, and it's so hard.
Can I ask you, do you feel like in Orlando you are coming across more families that are Spanish speaking?
Most of the time, yes. When I was working at the clinic, I think there was 50-50 Brazilian people, people from here, but also Spanish speakers. Yes.
I'm from Texas, and I would say same. We have about 50-50, but it's interesting because I wasn't sure what Orlando looked like. I know when you start hitting up towards higher Texas, because I'm more in the lower area of Texas, we don't have a lot of Spanish speaking. It's just like literally El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Texas is those areas. So it's interesting that you're also saying we have, you have that 50-50 where most likely they try to pair you with those clients that are Spanish speaking. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, when I was starting, that was the goal. But my first BCBA, I really love her, and she was like pushing me to talk in English.
I tell me right now why.
Well, when I started, when she was doing me the competency assessment, she told me like, I can do it. in Spanish if you want, but no, it's not an option for you. We're gonna do it in English because your exam will be in English.
I like that. So are you starting your BCBA yet?
It's a long story, but I'm from another country. The credits are different, and it's so confused because I born in Venezuela, but I did my high school in Chile, so it's kind of mess. So I need to start with psychology first because my credits it's like disappear. They don't valid here. Now I think I'm gonna start in Spain. Cross fingers. I'm just waiting the final yes. Because here it's like as an immigrant, it's more than 30,000 per year.
You would have to pay all out of wow. All
Yes.
out of pocket. Oh my goodness. Wow, very interesting. I'm learning a lot. That's very interesting. So if you get your degree in Spain, can
Mhm.
you eventually practice here?
Yes, but I need to do the master here, like the ABA masters and the course and the hours, everything here.
Oh, so if you have a degree in Spain, you
Hmm.
can use that to apply for a master's degree here.
Exactly.
And you figured this out on your own.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, first of all. You didn't have to come in here and share any of that if you didn't feel comfortable enough. And I'm happy that I'm able to provide some comfort for you to share that. And I think it's important for us to also make that awareness, happen of what people go through. Not only is this program really challenging, very hard to get into, you have an even extra barrier on top of that. Do you ever think about even finding those resources for other people who may be seeking support in like the situation that you're in?
Yes, of course. I didn't say nothing yet because I'm just waiting the final yes because I'm in this situation since April probably, but it's like so much barriers like my nationality, my passport, my ID. I'm literally not legal in any country, even my country. So it's so
Wow.
hard because I know that the people doesn't need to understand my situation as a Venezuelan, but sometimes I need to explain it over and over and again. Or you can use this ID, but you can't. So it's kind of complicated, but I'm just waiting the final yes to share the whole information because I know I'm not the only person that is trying to be a BCBA, but they need a master first, that degree.
I love that you said that you're still trying to find that information yourself, because then you're like, okay, if I can get confirmation, if I can find those answers, then you are more confident in supporting others, is what I'm kind of understanding.
Exactly.
I'm gonna kind of twist it over. I What is one thing that makes you different in this ABA field?
I think what makes me unique is my essence and dedication and passionate about helping others and seeing the process. I love that.
I like that you corrected me too, because I said different, and I love that you're like, no, 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 it's unique. It is not that I'm different. It's true though. I love that. I was like, you're right, girl. You what made you excited for like the TikTok? I saw your following. It's grown. Like I mean, I guess to me, it's like I love meeting people who are in the same like area of following, because you look at the million ones and you're like, all right, I'm not there yet. But then I meet other people. I'm like, wow, you're there too. What led you to that?
I was talking that like the whole weekend because I know most of the people it's like okay I'm gonna do a video every single day 2 or 3 times because I want to have like more than 1 million followers. But to be honest, because I start just because I love it. I start as a hobby, as my part-time. Okay, I'm gonna do a video, I'm gonna show my outfit, I'm gonna show my bag. This is my session. This is how I prep to the RBT exam. And then the people was excited about my content. And I say, okay, okay, that's my way, probably.
And I like that. And I like too that a lot of your videos are in Spanish. I think that's what brought my attention, because I'm gonna be honest. I've had people who have been wanting to take the RBT exam and the BCBA exam. and their first language is Spanish. And I represent myself as a Latina on my page as well. So I think that's what drew me in when I ran into your page. I was like, oh my goodness, like I can direct other people. I mean, my Spanish is not the best, but I can direct someone to you if they need help and support in understanding ABA in a Spanish way. But then, like you said, you still had to practice it in English so you can pass the exam. So you have kind of like a little bit of both. And I really do love that. Not only that, watch you go through your BCBA journey in the same way, right? And still having to process this information in English, take an English exam and pass that, right? So I love that. I guess I'm just kind of like telling you like what I saw. Like, isn't that crazy? Like hearing other people's perspectives of what they see when they run into your page, and I love the outfits. I love your whole personality in this field. I think that's why I was so drawn into that, and I was like, I need to get her on the podcast because I just want to ask you questions about everything. Is there something that you want to share about yourself or anything, any advice that you would give to someone?
I love the fun facts. I love to say my age because the people don't believe me that I have 20 years old.
And I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm 31. And then people are like, what? They think I'm younger,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
They
true.
think I'm younger. And then I look at you and I'm like, you're only 20 and you've accomplished that much. That's what I see when you said I'm 20. I'm like, wow, like you became an RBT. Now you're blowing up on TikTok, which is awesome, representing yourself. Do you feel like a lot of people represent themselves like you do in the ABA field?
I don't think so. Normally here in Florida, I have like, my things, but yeah, it's hard like to see how the ABA is working here in Florida. Normally more to the south.
Yeah, are you talking about like the way clinics and stuff are being run and like in-home therapy, like therapy in general? Oh, you're not the
Yes.
only one. Wow. So it's very unethical.
Yes.
Wow. So you're very passionate. I guess that's what I'm trying to like you're very passionate about what you do.
Yes, and I'm so picky. Like when I trying to research a clinic or a new job, now I'm not working in the clinic anymore, but it was my decision because my accident, I fell out downstairs and I broke a bone. So that was my decision, but I love that clinic. I love the clients. I love the RBT that was working there. I love the BCBA. For me, for now, she's the best. I'm so picky. I'm so
Yeah.
picky with BCBA
Yeah.
clinic.
No, I love that. I love that because I feel like I didn't start being picky until I became a BCBA. Being picky of where you work out is so important because not only are you getting the support that you need to get from your BCBA, from your company, you understand your value as an RBT, you provide direct therapy to these clients. You are the one making changes to these clients. And so if you don't have a company that values you, if you don't have a company that supports you, right, with their BCBA, they need us, right? You look into all this unethical behavior places, ABA places, and you're kind of like, one, where are you picking these people? Two, it's like, do you not see the value in ABA the way I see the value in ABA? That's what I wonder, right? So right now, do you have a BCB? I don't know if you want to share this. I don't know. Do you have a BCBA that you feel supported with? I don't have to add this, but can I ask?
Yes, yes, of course. When I don't have a BCBA that support me, I'm not gonna work because
Oh,
I did it what time. I think that was my second client, like comfortable doing online supervision, like through Zoom. If I can do it like here with me, it's better. I know where sometimes they can't, but at least once per month. So when I started with that client like 2 years ago, and the BCBA told me that everything was through online and other stuff, and it's like, okay, no, I can't. I'm not gonna do it. That's not
I
for me.
love that. Yeah. And I love this conversation because I think I know where it's going to go because I am a remote BCBA. I like that. Let's kind of talk about that aspect because I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten a lot of like comments and like things told to me because I represent remote BCBAs, which I don't mind at all because I understand the pros and cons. Also, I also understand that not everyone can do a remote position either. I did this is what they teach us in the boards, right? The boards, the BACB boards, they say you need to make decisions based on what you're competent in. So if you're
Mhm.
not competent in providing remote supervision, don't do it. And the only reason why, because I just got my license in February, the only reason why I feel competent is because I did it for 3 years in OT. And this is me providing direct therapy because in OT, we don't do supervision. In OT, I do direct therapy. So
Yeah.
what I had to do was teach the parent to do think if you really think about it, it's still me problem solving, right? I still had to figure out how am I going to teach this kid to do shoe tying, to do writing, to do all these other goals. That means I have to involve mom. Again, I had to brainstorm, right? To see, and I was even like, I don't want to do this. This is going to be really hard. And then all of a sudden I started to see progress. And I'm like, wow, okay, it takes a parent who's willing to, right? I also feel like it takes an RBT who's willing to provide and have guidance through me. Because trust me, I've seen instances where I'm kind of like, I get nervous sometimes. I get nervous and I'm like, oh, I just need to be there. And the good thing is, let me tell you, I am remote, but it's in remote in my city. So
Okay.
yes, I'm all around Senate, but it's far places too. So I can't just drive there all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
but I've noticed too that I'm just hands on too. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been showing up to my visits. I agree with you. I think well, first, how do you feel about that? Like me sharing a little bit of why I'm picking a remote position.
No, that's good because that's the pen of the BCBA. You know, it's a BCBA, it's a good person, it's a good in her job, even through the screen, like the vibes, like everything.
What is it that you like when someone is in there in person that you cannot get through supervision through like remotely?
I saw that more in home, like, the space, the people that is in the house, the people that reinforce the child, how reinforce the child, because it's not the same when you start a call and the people around the kids is gonna be, okay, she's in a meeting. Don't do nothing because she's in a meeting, but the moment that we close or we leave the meeting, probably everything's gonna be different.
Yeah, like kind of setting boundaries, right? Like kind of going in there because that is our job, right? Our job is to go in there and kind of set expectations, set boundaries. And I could see that because, and it makes sense because I feel like when you start as an upper T, you go in there, right? And you're starting. I probably haven't even met up with the parents only when I did like the evaluation. I haven't even had time to actually observe them in their natural environment because it's all remote, right? And so I guess I'm kind of trying to see it in that perspective of, and I love everything you said about looking at the environment, looking at what kind of reinforcement parents are giving. And then even sometimes it's interesting because being remote, they don't sometimes show everything. I'm noticing that now. I'm like, all of a sudden the screen comes down and then the RBT is like, well, after we were done talking, this and this and this happened. And I'm like, why wasn't I there? Like I could have, it would have made a big difference.
Well, it's the same. It's the same with the supervision is in person because the BCBA it's gonna be there just one day or probably 3 hours per week. And what about the 24 less hours? I know that.
You are right. You are right. You are right. Because, and it's true, even clients, right? Do you ever notice like clients start to behave a little bit different when
Yes.
they're like,
Yes.
oh, someone's watching me. I gotta be in my best behavior.
Now that we're talking about that, I remember my first client like 2 years ago. Um, I'm doing the SD and the client answer me like, oh, the name of the BCBA. she's not here. She's on vacation, so I'm not gonna do it. And I was like,
Oh no. Oh my, were they
yeah,
older?
like 6 years old.
No, which is so interesting because you're there longer. Like what? Wow. No, I had a client once that I would have to do. So I did do in clinic for about 3 months before I ended up switching. I had a client that I had to do remote supervision, even though I was in the clinic. Okay, like I would legit be in the back room, but I had to do remote supervision so I could actually see these behaviors. Like this client knew, like when she's here, I'm at my I love supervising a lot. I was gonna ask you too. Like, is it weird if like your BCBA is always like supervising you? Like, I love that.
I love that.
Okay,
When
good.
now when my BCBA texts me like, Natalie, I'm gonna be with you tomorrow, I feel like yes, yes. I love that.
Good. I'm glad because sometimes I'm like, am I weird? Like, I'm just like, and I do like 2 hours supervision and like let's say for example, there's a kid like that goes on hold. You know, I'm gonna see you a lot more with the other kids. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna book myself to make up for like the time that I've missed, I guess you can say. I have another question. Do you think it's weird when like a BCBA says my RBT? Do you like to be represented as the RBT? How do you feel about that?
I think I feel good with my RBT because I was talking at the beginning, my first BCBA, she's the best. And she was always talking about us, like or like her babies, her RBTs. Yeah.
Oh, I never was in like a supervisor role. Like in OT, there's not, when we do occupational therapy, you just do direct, like you do. So there's two. Do you know a little bit about occupational therapy?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you know how you have OTRs and then we have the codas,
Uh-huh.
right? And so even though there is a supervisor involved, like I don't know how Florida is, but in Texas, we can just, I think it's everywhere. We can just meet up through even text, even calls, and just be like, hey, once a month. Hey, how's our clients? Here's an update. All right, cool. Bye-bye. And that's
Okay.
enough to be considered. And you don't even have to document it. As long as you're communicating, you're good. So again, even being in that position, there was a lot of respect for everyone in the field. Everyone was a therapist. Everyone had the same equal respect. There was nothing different. And I approached these situations the same. I have the same respect for RBTs. Doesn't make you any different. It doesn't. We are a team and we are collaborating. And that's why I was like, I want to make sure, like, you're not going to be the only one. I want to ask RBTs, like, how comfortable are you? Like, I say my RBTs because, again, they're under my team, right? And I was like, my RBTs, but I'm like, oh, I don't want them to feel like they're below anything ever. So thank you for that clarity. I feel so much better now. Now I'm like, okay. I mean, everyone has a preference, right? We should always do preference
Yeah.
assessments.
No, I love that. And I feel so sad that we can't be friends or BCBAs.
Like how you said, I wish we could be friends because I totally agree. But I understand why science, right? Like science basically proves that. And I think when I realized that, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're responding more to me than them. That makes sense. Why
Yes.
we can build dual relationships. Like I'm new to this field. In OT, we don't have the same rules. Like in OT, they don't, I mean, I think you could even date like people and like make like let's say like an OTR and a CODA, they could even date and create their own company and like even do services like that. Like we're not very strict. And then you go into
Yeah.
ABA and all these rules, and I'm like, I'm scared I'm gonna break one day and not know.
Yeah, that was thinking when I started to do content. Like every day I'm so nervous, like, oh my God, what's happening if I broke a rule?
Especially when we talk about the test, huh? Because I do the same thing.
Yes.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the exam and then
Okay.
anything. I know your thing is like the RBT exam is not hard. Please explain as to why.
When I start, I was so confused. When I finished my 40 hours course, I was so confused because I feel there's so much information in just 40 hours. And it's just running. Then when I started to study like prep, to the RBT exam, the first day that I opened the book, I finished crying. I was literally crying. Like, it's this for me or not? Is that English helping me or not? I was really confused. But then I started to study like with strategies, and also like I dedicate so much times. So that's why I say I know when you start probably it's gonna be hard. But if you really do it with love and you believe that you're gonna do it, of course you're gonna do it. Manifest and the words have powerful. So if you wake up every single day saying that you're not gonna pass the RBT exam and the RBT exam is so hard, you're not gonna do it. You know how many people tell me like you can't study never in your life because you're not in your country and it's gonna be like difficult. And I'd say, no, you can't say me no.
I agree. I remember when I woke up the day for my BCBA exam, I was smiling. And I cried like you. I cried for 30 days straight before my exam. And I remember waking up and I'm like, I'm gonna pass it. It was like this weird sensation in me, right? It's just, and then I submitted. I was like, I'm gonna pass. It was so hard, but at the same time, I had this gut feeling. I never said I'm not going to pass. And I did it. And I think that's where manifestation really built inside of me. And let me tell you, I tell my students the same thing. Don't talk like that. Wake up every single morning and say you are going to do it. And it's crazy that you have the exact same experience in a different exam, but an exam that I feel like more people are trying to reach to.
Yeah.
Because it is a field that's growing and we need a lot of more people in this field. When you studied, did you study those words in Spanish? I think I heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just kind of Googled them and just try to pair them together.
Well, that was just with some like definitions. That was the hardest. But I really tried in English because I know when you do the translate, like some information just mess it up. And that's why, you know, that I have flashcards. If you really know the Spanish, you know that the RBT flashcards in Spanish is not really in Spanish. It's just translated because I want the people to try it in English and just use the Spanish as like, you know, it's help, but not it's I'm gonna try it in English.
Please let everybody know where they can follow you, where they can find you. Let us know.
Okay, so you can follow me in Instagram at Nati Tasca with Y, and TikTok is Nati Tasca too. Yes.
I love it. And then you have all your material on your TikTok that people can find.
Yes. Yes, everything is
Awesome.
on my TikTok.
Awesome. I really do appreciate you being here, and I'm really excited to show everybody. And you represent the community very, very well. And I am going to continue following you. I'm excited to even have you back again and kind of update us on this journey that you are having. I feel like you can definitely motivate a lot of people in this community. And I just want to say that I really, truly appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Really.
Thank you guys. So our podcast is coming to an end. I just want to say I'm just happy with this one because again, we get to represent our community, ABA, Latinas as well. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.